Welcome to Unspoken Minutes, where we uncover the bizarre, the baffling, and the downright unbelievable. Did you know it's illegal to whistle underwater in Vermont? Or that high heels are banned at ancient sites in Greece? You heard that right. Laws like these actually exist. They may seem absurd today, but they're still legally enforceable. In this extended exploration, we're going to take a deep dive, literally, into 10 of the weirdest, most head-scratching laws that are still technically in effect around the globe. Not only will we explore the origin of these laws, but we'll also look at the cultural context, quirky side stories, and the reasons why they continue to survive in modern legal systems. 1. No ice cream in your back pocket. Kentucky, USA. Imagine strolling through 1800s. Kentucky with an ice cream cone in your back pocket. Sounds like a weird fashion statement, right? Well, believe it or not, this seemingly innocent act was once a cunning tactic used by horse thieves. Back in the day, horse theft was a serious crime with harsh penalties. So thieves found a loophole. Instead of physically stealing a horse, they would casually walk by with a dripping ice cream cone in their back pocket. The sweet scent would attract nearby horses, which would then follow them home. When questioned, the thief would simply say, "The horse followed me." No crime, just dessert. This odd but effective strategy led lawmakers to criminalize carrying ice cream in your back pocket. To this day, Kentucky still has this law in the books, although it's rarely, if ever, enforced. But it serves as a curious example of how specific, situational laws were born out of very real societal problems and just never got repealed. Fun fact, this law also exists in parts of Georgia and Alabama. Seems like the ice cream cone had quite the criminal record in the South. 2. Don't die in Parliament, United Kingdom. Now here's a law that truly defies logic. In the UK, it is said to be illegal to die inside the Houses of Parliament. Strange? Absolutely. But the reason is even stranger. The Palace of Westminster, home to the British Parliament, is considered a royal palace. Under traditional customs, anyone who dies within its walls is entitled to a state funeral, an expensive and ceremonious affair typically reserved for royalty and national heroes. To avoid the bureaucratic chaos and potential cost, the myth of this law was born. Though many believe it's an official regulation, the British government has stated it's more of a legend than a law. Yet, the idea has persisted in public discourse for decades and is often cited among the world's strangest legal restrictions. Interestingly, staff at Parliament are trained in emergency procedures that include quickly removing an unconscious or dying person from the building, just in case. Whether to preserve tradition or dodge paperwork, the rule might be folklore, but the practice is real. 3. Chewing gum ban. Singapore. Let's head east to Singapore, where chewing gum is more than a sticky situation. It's a legal offense. In 1992, the Singaporean government implemented a nationwide ban on the sale and import of chewing gum. The motivation? Cleanliness, efficiency, and public order. Before the ban, discarded gum was causing major headaches. 4. No climbing trees, Ontario, Canada. Next up, let's head north to Ontario, Canada, where even nature needs a legal disclaimer. In the city of Oshawa, there's a municipal bylaw that prohibits people from climbing trees in public parks. That's right. If you get caught scaling a tree, you could be fined. Why such a rule? Officials argue it's all about public safety and liability. If someone were to fall and injure themselves, the city could be held responsible. By banning tree climbing, they aim to reduce accidents and protect both citizens and municipal budgets. This law has sparked plenty of debate, especially among parents and outdoor enthusiasts who believe children should be free to explore and play. While enforcement is rare, there have been reports of park security reminding families of the rule. It's a fascinating example of how modern legal systems must balance freedom with risk prevention, even when it comes to something as wholesome as climbing a tree. Historical side note, tree climbing has long been a rite of passage in childhood, so much so that some communities push back against such laws as bubble wrapping society. But Oshawa stands firm, making this one of the oddest and most contested park rules in North America. 5. No high heels at ancient sites, Greece. Now let's jet over to Greece, where fashion meets preservation. Since 2009, it has been illegal to wear high heels at historic monuments like the Acropolis. This law isn't about modesty or dress codes, it's about marble. High heels, especially stilettos, can exert more pressure per square inch than an elephant's foot. When thousands of tourists trample over ancient ruins every year, even tiny heel points can chip or crack delicate stone. To prevent further damage, Greek officials made it illegal to wear them at over 100 archaeological sites. The law caught some tourists by surprise at first, but it has since become widely accepted. In fact, it's now common to see signs at ancient sites reminding visitors to wear flat-soled shoes. Some venues even offer flip-flops or felt covers for free. This rule isn't just about stones, it's about stewardship. Greece holds some of the oldest and most treasured artifacts in human history. Laws like this remind us that preservation sometimes means adjusting our daily habits, even our footwear, for the sake of history. 6. Don't feed the pigeons. Venice, Italy. Imagine sipping an espresso in St. Mark's Square, surrounded by a flurry of pigeons. It's a romantic image, right? Not anymore. In 2008, the city of Venice passed a law banning the feeding of pigeons in its famous piazza. The problem? Too much love. Tourists were tossing breadcrumbs and popcorn, which attracted flocks of pigeons that caused significant damage to historic statues and buildings. Bird droppings are not just gross. They're acidic and destructive, corroding stone and wood. City officials launched a campaign to restore Venice's dignity, banning pigeon feeding and even issuing fines up to 700 euros. Vendors who sold bird seed were also shut down. While some tourists missed the spectacle, many locals praised the decision. The square is cleaner, the monuments are safer, and the pigeons, they've just moved on. This law is a lesson in environmental balance. Even small actions, like feeding birds, can have massive consequences over time, especially in cities with fragile heritage. And Venice, a city literally sinking under the weight of time, can't afford extra erosion. 7. It's illegal to handle salmon suspiciously. United Kingdom. Yes, you heard that right. In England and Wales, the Salmon Act of 1986 makes it illegal to handle salmon in suspicious circumstances. Originally enacted to combat the black market sale of illegally caught fish, the law's wording has amused people for decades. What exactly constitutes suspicious salmon handling? Authorities interpret it as buying, selling, or possessing salmon that may have been illegally fished. However, the vague phrasing has inspired countless jokes and internet memes. Still, it's part of UK law and is occasionally cited in fisheries enforcement cases. It's a fascinating example of how a serious environmental regulation can gain a quirky reputation because of how it's worded. 8. You must own a burial plot before dying. France. In the town of Sarporanx, France, a 2008 municipal decree made headlines around the world. The law states that residents are not allowed to die within the city limits unless they have previously purchased a burial plot. The bizarre law was passed after a court dispute blocked the expansion of the town's cemetery. Frustrated, the mayor issued the decree as a protest against bureaucratic delays. Though largely symbolic, the law technically remains on the books and is a humorous reminder of just how far a town might go to make a point. Locals got the message, and the press coverage ensured the world took notice too. 9. You can't wear a suit of armor in British Parliament. This law dates back to 1313 and is still considered valid today. According to ancient statute, members of Parliament are prohibited from entering the House of Commons while wearing armor. While no one is showing up in chainmail these days, the law reflects a time of civil unrest and the monarchy's attempts to control violence in government settings. It's part of a larger tradition of ceremonial restrictions that once held serious legal weight. It's a fascinating glimpse into medieval politics and how some traditions never quite get repealed. 10. Camels are not allowed on highways. Nevada, USA. Yes, in the deserts of Nevada, it's still technically illegal to drive a camel on the highway. The law originates from the 1800s when camels were imported by the U.S. Army for transport in arid regions. After they fell out of favor, some escaped or were abandoned, occasionally wandering onto roads. Accidents happened. So the state made it clear, no camels on highways. Today it's more a piece of cowboy-era trivia than an enforceable statute, but it's a great reminder of how laws often reflect the unique history of a place. Final thoughts. The legacy of law. From suspicious fish to outlawed footwear, these strange laws remind us of the evolving and sometimes bizarre relationship between society and the legal system. Some were born out of real necessity. Others were symbolic gestures or outdated relics that never got repealed. So next time you're tempted to climb a tree, wear heels at the ruins, or whistle underwater, pause and think. What odd laws might be lurking in your local rulebook? What's the weirdest law you've ever heard of? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again on Unspoken Minutes for more stories that make you question reality.